Colombia. All right. We are recording this call for everyone attending. Welcome. Happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome to the Regenerative Neighborhood Framework Call Series, where we are gathering as a community of community co-creators, sharing the things that are important to us in the design of a regenerative neighborhood, and gathering resources, projects that we know that are doing exemplary work in any of these categories. The 5 categories that we're covering on these calls are ecology, which is at the heart of this mission to design like nature and for nature; hardware, describing all of the built environment and the physical things that we as humans create on the land in order to have thriving living spaces; human systems, everything involved with humans and how we interact with ourselves and each other and even with nature; economy, the tools that we use to exchange value, exchange time, and exchange resources; and software, the digital tools that can help streamline this journey of many humans living together, coordinating together, and ideally thriving together. Welcome to the calls. It's Saturday, it's 3 p.m. I'm grateful for all of you being here. My name is Oscar. I'm passionate about this movement. I see regenerative neighborhoods as the embodiment of the regenerative movement, this journey to live in alignment with nature and hopefully make up for a lot of the destruction that's happened throughout humanity's time living on this planet, and doing that through designing systems that allow us to live synergistically with nature. A few more people arriving right now. So welcome, Martin. All right, guys. So there's a lot of familiar faces. I think we were all on the call last week. So I'm grateful for you guys coming back. Let's see. Kim, would you like to say hello? Say hi.
Hello, everyone. Good day from Canada. Nice to see you, Ari. Nice to see you, Brian, Martin, Vivo, Sonia, Eric, Vitali. Thank you all for being here. I'm excited. I feel as though I have renewed vigor for getting a bunch of solutions that I'm aware of into the Miro board today.
Sweet. Yeah. So this is, like we said, the second call in the ecology duo. This call, we will be focusing on existing solutions that are out there. Last week, we did a bit of the theoretical exploration of the subtopics. We didn't actually get to finish all of the subtopics, so we have some empty cards on the board. Potentially, if we have time at the end, we can go and add a little bit to those. Let's go. Justin just arrived. Let me let him in. Yeah, so the very clear metric of success for this week's call is to put at least one new project or resource into each of the subcategories that are up here. You can see them here on my screen. These are the subcategories. They're also on the Miro board. I'm going to share my screen now and get into it. I invite you guys all to jump onto the Miro board. Let's share a link to that. Sonia, can you share a link? Yeah. 1 second, you guys. Let me jump on the Miro board. I'm sharing my screen. Here it is.
Yeah, I'm going to share a link right now.
Cool. I'm going to start with the zoom in on ecology just so we know where we're going. I'm going to first start out with some breakout groups. So we're going to do a 5-minute breakout group where everyone will get to say hi to each other, update each other on what you're doing this week, how your week has been. A big goal for these calls is also for us to connect as a community, to see each other, to share updates with each other, and to kind of kick off the process of what our goal is: building a community to live in community, and doing that in a digital world first. So I'm going to set up a couple of breakout rooms. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of us. So I'm going to do 3 breakout groups. That should be about 3 people in each room. It'll give each person about 2 minutes, minute and a half to say hi, share, and drop in with each other. So let me create these breakout groups. Here we go. I'm going to do 3. I'm going to randomly assign So if you're in a room with just bots, feel free to jump out and jump into another one. I'm going to try to navigate that a bit from the back end as well. So I'll see you guys soon. I'm going to do this breakout group for 5 minutes. All right, we're going. Send it. This meeting is being recorded. So welcome back to the main room, everybody. You guys are finishing out your breakout sessions. I'm here, Vitali's here, and everyone else should be here shortly.
Vivo is here.
Oh, Vivo, everyone's here already. What's up, you guys? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, Justin. Hey, Kevin. Welcome, you guys. All right, so where we left off, welcome back to the main room. Happy everyone got a few minutes to say hi to each other. Last week, we spent a lot of time on the intros because more and more people showed up, and we didn't actually get to finish all of the activities for all of the ecology groups that you see here behind me. This week, we are more targeting solutions, existing projects that are out there for each of the subtopics. So I'm going to invite you guys all to the Miro board where I'm going to be sharing my screen so everyone watching the recording can have an up-to-date journey of what's going on. Here is our Miro board, just a quick little tour of the Miro board for all the ones watching this recording. At the very top is your starting point. You can see all the links to this call series. You can get a high-level explanation of why we're gathering to create this wonderful framework. These are the macro topics that we are discussing, like we shared before. We're on ecology right now, hardware, human systems, economy, and software. As we continue, you can explore the big why, how, and what we are gathering to make this framework and streamline the journey of designing, building, operating, and growing regenerative neighborhoods. Quick question, what is a regenerative neighborhood? Our definition that we have really been working to describe to a broad audience is this is wellness real estate with resilient systems for water, food, energy, waste, and housing. And there are community amenities and lifestyle. So community-based projects where we live, play, and have all of the things that we need to live a healthy life. Here is a peek at these core categories that we have started covering, ecology, and will cover in the following weeks, hardware, human systems, software, economy, and how we've broken them down. Example, ecology, the ones we'll discuss today are here, and each one of these categories has subcategories that we will be exploring, discussing things that are important to us, gathering data that we can feed into this LLM later on, and then more specifically, gathering resources, which is the focus of today's call, to gather resources for each one of these subtopics. As you make your way down the board, you can see who's involved. Here are screenshots, links to each person's tribe's platform where you can read more about them, learn who they are, what interests them, and what they've done so far in this journey. You can take a peek at each call and all of the activities in all the calls, the intro call, the framework call, and last week's ecology call. And so this week, we continue on that journey. Most of you were here for last week's ecology call, where we went into climate, biodiversity, and impact monitoring and metrics. We discussed things like the purpose of each of these subtopics. How do we measure our success in doing those things in terms of regenerative neighborhood development? Other categories that could fall under those subtopics and processes to activate or embody these subtopics in the development of regenerative neighborhoods. The focus this week, our biggest takeaway goal we discussed, as a follow-up call with Masterminding Eden team, was to ensure everyone knows our goal is to gather resources, solutions, any kind of projects that that are out there working on, in this case, climate, in this case, biodiversity, in this case, impact monitoring and metrics, etc. So today we're going to kick off with some lightning rounds where we're going to focus on one of these topics for 4 minutes. We're going to go through all of these. So it's going to be about 28 minutes, right? There's 7 times 4. Yeah, 28. I'm going to invite each of you. It's going to be a bit more of like a co-work session where I'm going to invite you all. We're going to kick off with, maybe let's start with something new. Let's kick off with ecosystem restoration. So we're going to, one second. Sorry, I just moved everything, I think. Or someone else
Just do
did.
a Control Z.
There
you
it is.
go.
It's back. It's back. All right. Thank you. So this week, instead of going into the why we're doing this, how we measure it, and what processes we apply, we are going to kick off with finding solutions. So again, a solution is an existing project that you know that's out there, a project that is creating any kind of guides, books, tools for this specific topic, ecosystem restoration. I'm going to set a timer here for 4 minutes. Maybe you know one, or maybe you can jump onto Google, jump onto ChatGPT, whatever your choice tool is for research. And we're going to start dropping things in here. I invite you, if you have a PDF or a book or something that is a big file, to post it on the Tribes platform. To go to the Tribes platform, you can just come up here and click the link right up here. It'll take you right over to the Tribes platform. And you can drop it in there in the document section. If it's just a link to a project, go ahead and drop it here if you'd like, or you can drop it also on the Tribes platform. That's where we'll be harvesting all the resources. So I'm going to go ahead and take this timer down to 4 minutes, and I'm going to run that timer. If you have any questions throughout the conversation, feel free to share. As you drop links, I invite you guys to also share a little description. That would help. All right, so I'm going to leave this on the screen. I'm going to move all you guys over here to where we are. We're on this board right here. We're focusing on ecosystem for the next 4 minutes. On these 4 minutes, go into your notes, look through your conversations with anyone you discuss ecosystem restoration with, know projects of, and start dropping some links. I'm going to go into my notes real quick. Yeah, consider this a bit of a co-work session where we're all going to be pulling things up and sharing things here.
I remember in one of these, you guys had background music playing. How did you do that?
That's true. We did have
You put on
background.
some awesome chill beats.
Yeah, let's see. I think I can edit this. Let's see.
Get some Sam Garrett flowing or something.
Yeah, you can add music in the edit button.
I think as this one's running, it's not going to let me, but yeah, I'll do that in a second.
Can you all hear that?
Nope.
No.
Well, I can enjoy Daft Punk on my own, but sorry guys, it doesn't. I guess there's a fancy microphone
Yeah.
muffler or something.
Fancy
It's like
filter.
noise cancellation, which is great. But I think there's a built-in feature in Zoom.
Yeah, there's that. Oh, and Zoom. Okay.
I don't know.
Right. I'm pretty sure Miro also has it.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
Miro has this option on the timer. I can add it for the rest of the exercises now.
Okay, cool. Okay. You guys, even if you find something interesting as like a website, anything on Google that matches this keyword, like share the link, put a little description on top of the card, and this will be good resources for us to pull and add to this LLM that we'll be structuring. This is nice. Okay, here's one. I'm going to share my screen as I upload something to the Tribes platform for everyone watching at home. All right. All right. How did that go? Anyone want to share anything about one of the documents they uploaded? Anything, maybe somewhere you got it that was interesting?
Sure. I just attended a kelp congress that was put on just last week or two, and it covered restoration techniques up and down the Pacific coast, including urchin bashing, including archives, which are basically floating kelp sporulating modules, and including related activities and measuring basically an attempt to bring back kelp forests.
Nice. Kelp is like these giant grass, like giant seagrass.
Kelp is actually an algae, and it's 1 billion years old, and it's been up and down the coast of the Pacific for at least tens of millions of years.
Okay, nice.
It's a forest. It's what's depicted behind me.
Let's see. Let me get in there. Let me see real quick. Oh, nice. Okay. Beautiful. Yeah. Cool. All right, nice. Yeah, anyone else want to share something that they uploaded that they're like excited about before we go on to the next topic?
Well, I'm excited about mushrooms and mycelium that eat plastic, metabolize it into non-toxic things because we have so much legacy waste and plastic and microplastic, and we really need to find a better way to deal with it than burning it, incinerating it, or turning it into more plastic to degrade into the oceans. So I put a link to that study there, and then the regenerating soils. I think that the soils are such an important component of ecosystem restoration, and just the whole big picture is that microbes and the carbon content, the nitrogen content, and all the goodness that's in the soils. So biochar and biostimulants for improving soil I also put on there.
Yes. Okay, very cool. Nice. All right, sweet.
I put a link to a YouTube video of that tells like a 5-minute story about the Bioparque Mancora. It's a project that I visited last year in Colombia, where they're doing a whole like very holistic bioregional activation that incorporates literally everything. They're doing great work there, and it started with an effort of ecosystem restoration, which was the creation of the Bioparque Mancora. I'm gonna try to find it's in Spanish. You can set the subtitles to whatever language you want, and I'll try to find maybe some written stuff on it from the design school, which is a private platform that I can share here that just talks about that being kicking off the whole like community and just in general regeneration process.
All right, very cool. Yeah, it's great. It has captions. I can pull those captions and maybe create a little subfolder and upload that as just like raw content to this dynamic documentation we'll be creating. Okay, nice. Great. yeah, stuff I would have never thought, to add. So that's really cool. It's going to be super interesting to see what this LLM gives back as answers when we start asking it questions once that gets put more together. Okay, sweet. So that was the first one. We're going to move on to the next one, which is landscape and natural resources. Again, I shared my hesitation with ecology because it's so broad, all inclusive. Literally everything is ecology when you think about it. And we're still trying to like break it into subcategories and organize it a little. So this one, landscape and natural resources. Maybe we can take a minute as a group. Like, what would that mean to you? Like, first thing that comes to my mind when I think of natural resources is like petroleum and oil,
Water.
resources, water, sure. Anyone else? One word, something that comes up when you think of like landscape and natural resources, like trees, wood, for sure, come to mind.
Forests.
Forest, yeah, definitely.
Forests.
Food forests.
Converting lawns into food forests.
Yes.
Oil.
Yes.
Using using village homes as a model, it's about how to manage the water even before the houses are built, slowing it down, spreading it out, and enabling an increased percolation of water into the soil for use during dry season.
Sure. Water, forests, wood. Yep, definitely, oil. Okay, yeah, that those are just some that came to mind. So again, this is a really interesting thought experiment for all of us. Oh, someone's moving stuff all around. Whoever did that, Control Z. Yeah, thank you very much. You did it. Yep, soil microbials, cool. Yeah, go ahead and put like single words on there. And again, I'm gonna set the timer for 4 minutes. I have chill beats on happening this time. So for 4 minutes, we're gonna work on finding resources, projects, websites, anything that you can find online in your own personal archives from your own experiences that can give us leads and some specialists that we can reference later on. I'm going to set the timer for 4. Oh, I think it's running. Maybe not. One more second. Let me edit this. Pick music. Chill beats. 4 minutes. All right. Good. And we're going to do it. Here we go. It's going. Music. You guys hear the music?
Yeah,
So far.
we do.
Yeah. It's a little lo-fi.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, time's up. I have like 2 good ones I need to add, and then I'm done. 1 second. Okay, 1 and 2. All right. Does anyone want to share something about maybe a project you visited, something that stood out to you? Again, on this topic of landscape and natural resources.
We're working on vertical bifacial panels, agrivoltaics, to enable sunlight collection and food, vegetable growing on the same acres. It's an extension of the FarmBot, which is open source.
Yeah, nice. Wait, describe the FarmBot. What was that?
FarmBot is a robotic gantry system that enables 3 meters wide times n meters long system for growing food automatically, automatic seeding, watering, weeding, and other management. And you can put vertical bifacial panels on the sides, which powers the whole system and provides surplus power in the mornings and the late afternoons.
Okay, nice, nice.
There's a
Oh,
link.
so this is now vertical, like agrivoltaic, but vertical instead of horizontal.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
The panels are vertical and the vegetables are between the panels.
Yeah. So you only get sun when you only get energy on the panels when the sun's on either one side or the other.
Yeah, they're facing north-south. In the early morning, you get east light. In the late afternoon, you get west light. And on cloudy days, you get light on both sides, and that enables you to get power for your homes on the cloudiest winter days.
Okay, very cool, very cool. Yeah, does anyone else have anything they'd like to share about one of the projects they shared or one of the topics and why it really like hits home?
The WEF biodiversity surveying mapping system. There's another one that I have and I'm looking for right now that I was introduced to, but it is a useful tool, and you can input and upload data about your area, and you can see what biodiversity risks exist, and it's a useful tool. The WWF biodiversity, not WEF, WWF biodiversity risk filter. It's a useful tool. Trying to find another one that was parallel to that. Yes. And then I think of syntropic ecosystems. So old growth forests and biotic water pumps.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I would love to share one also that I'm like so drawn to, which is how they are, turning sand into soil in the deserts, where they're creating these like half crescent moon holes on the wayward side of the wind and planting little shrubs inside of this. And these like little half moon crescents hold just enough moisture and stop the wind from blowing away. I find that super interesting, and like, one of the probably least expected resources, which is soil, and turning sand into soil and creating the ecosystem for that is really exciting. I shared a link for one of those here. Okay, cool. All right. So landscape, natural resources. Any other, also we have a little section on the right with lingering questions you might want to ask, which will also be really good to feed the LLM, things that maybe that are sitting on our mind and we want to double tap later on and don't have an answer for, but definitely have a clear question. Asking the right questions is half the battle in this journey. None of us know all of it. So feel free to put questions on the little box to the right of each one of these topics as well.
Oscar, we tried to add one. I think we added a comment. We're on the phone here, but tried to add a link for foodforestabundance.com. Food Forest
Okay, I can add
Abundance
that.
is a platform that my friend Jim Gale created. They've got a flagship farm in Florida, Gulf's Landing Farm, and the mission is converting 30% of lawns in the U.S. to food forests.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah, I
Hey,
actually know food
Aria,
forest abundance. Cool.
Aria, that link did come through. By the way, I checked the one that Aria just mentioned.
Yeah,
It did
yeah.
come through. It's
Okay, great.
fascinating. It's great stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know, talking about lawns to food, another huge resource, food and our lawns, in the U.S. especially. I'm seeing posts coming up right now of like during the world wars, people were encouraged to grow food at the local scale on their front yards, and how successful that was. That like 40% of food growth in the US was happening by home owners and local like scenarios like that. So like the decentralized power of that is epic. And it's a shame that in some places it's even illegal to grow your own food now in your backyards in the US, which is kind of
Why?
weird.
That's
I
weird.
don't
Why
know.
is
You
that?
know, it's for the same reason they don't want you to capture your own water. Maybe it,
Laughable. Yeah.
you know, they say it's because, oh, you changed the water table and all of this, but like, you know, whatever. I'm not going to get into conspiracy theories.
Nonsense. Yeah, it's nonsense.
Yeah, it's nonsensical for sure. Okay, cool. So that was landscape natural resources. I'm loving, we're dumping a bunch of stuff on this board. It's really good, you guys. I'm grateful for it. I'm going to transition us now to ecological wisdom and science. I'm going to invite everyone over here, right over to your right, a little bit more. Maybe we can kick off with 1 or 2 minutes where we each share what this means to us. What is ecological wisdom and science?
So at the moment, the screen that we're seeing on your screen share is still looking at the other
Oh,
side of
wow,
the
I'm on my
Miro
other
board.
screen. Yeah. Wow, you're great. Thank you, Cam. I didn't even realize that. You rock. Thanks,
You're
Steph. Thank you for the heads up.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Wisdom and
Kick us-
science.
Yeah, to kick us off, I'll just mention Tom Chi's TED Talk, which was really profound. And he said, all of the global economy is a subset of our ecology. So if we want to bring Davos and the World Economic Forum and everybody into our sphere, we say, if you care about economy, then you have to care about ecology, because ecology is a superset of our economy.
Yeah, totally. The disconnection from that is like the biggest mistake we're making, probably. So yeah,
Just to underline what Dr. Brian had just said. I mean, in terms of the ecology, I mean, the entire modern economy was developed within the context of the Holocene. You know, the stability of global average surface temperatures and the consistency of weather patterns around the planet, which facilitate the innovation of farming and on, which allowed for population growth, which allowed for trade, you know, ultimately commerce and that type of thing. So you're right. The entire context of modern civilization came within the context of the ecology that sustains current life on Earth. And yet our economics is destabilizing it. Go figure.
Right. Money and economy is technically a construct. Like we made it up, we assign value. It's just paper made out of trees and other materials. It's fake, essentially. And the real thing is ecology. So yeah, deeply agree with that. Yeah, that is definitely one of the wisdoms, probably the core wisdom. You're right, that everything we need to thrive is based on the ecological systems that hold us up. It's the bottom of the foundation for all of us and everything. Does anyone have anything else to add? I'm seeing on here indigenous traditional ecological knowledge. Yes, definitely agree with that. You know, we're like in Colombia right now, very close to the Arhuacu tribe out here in the mountains of Santa Marta. And, you know, they have such a deep connection to nature. They have a deep understanding of how the mountain and the trees and the forest create the water that feeds all the rivers. So, you know, that wisdom that when you translate it to science is that biotic pump system, which is super interesting to hear it from them and then that be presented to me in the science realm. So that's one bridge I've like connected recently, which was nice. I'm gonna add that.
Ley lines, Sacred geometry.
Okay, ley line, sacred geometry. Yeah, definitely.
Generally, in terms of wisdom, that the more diverse an ecosystem, the more resilient it is, and we can quantify the diversity and the resilience as a result.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick off the timer again. I'm gonna put 4 minutes. This time let's go with Cosmic Vibe music. And I invite you guys all to either reach into your personal database, Instagrams, Facebook pages, wherever you hold your tabs, your bookmark tabs on your browsers, and start just sharing all of that gold we all have somewhere onto the board. I'm going to put 4 minutes. We'll do a little, like a minute or two of talking after, and start putting them in here. I'm going to do the same.
Oscar, when I'm looking at the Zoom, it's really zoomed in for me. I don't know if it's just my screen or
The Zoom,
yeah,
like
like
the screen sharing.
the screen sharing for the Zoom, it's really zoomed in, but I don't know if it's the same for everybody else.
Let's see. Like the little inset window I have, I see like the whole ecological wisdom science.
Okay, perfect. Good.
Is that good? Is it looking better for you now?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure it was good for the video for people watching later.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you guys. Yeah, thank you for the eyeball. Our hope is to make these videos as understandable and accessible to anyone that comes in and clicks through and is exploring the calls. So maybe they can join on future calls or whatever topic interests them. So yeah, all feedback is definitely appreciated. Needed. All right, you guys. So time is up. Any of these projects anyone's feeling strongly about and would love to share something, an experience they had or something they're working on with it?
I have a short chain of thought. Then that is the we've talked about how the more diverse an ecosystem is, the more resilient it is. There are two ways of measuring by diversity. There are many, but two interesting ones are assembly theory and Friston free energy. And you can only manage what you can measure. So these measurement approaches might enable us to better manage ecologic ecosystems.
Yep. Right. Yeah. The metrics one. I would love to double tap on the metrics thing at the end of the call. I think we'll have a little bit of time, because last week, one of the, reflecting with Chimera after the call, I realized we were like getting into a meta conversation of like, how do we monitor and measure our journey of monitoring and measuring? And I found that to be really funny, really interesting, but like also so critical. Like you said, like if we don't know where we are to start, how do we know where we're going, in which direction, etc.
Agreed.
Yeah. Anyone else want to share something about this topic of like indigenous wisdoms, science, ecological wisdoms?
Yeah, I found a really nice guide. It's called Kairos. If you go to the Tribes platform, you can find the whole PDF. It's quite long, so it's worth a read and probably 1 hour to go through that. But it's essentially a collection of different elements of the indigenous culture, mostly in South America, Colombia, Ecuador, Bolivia, and talks about everything from land stewardship, resource management, and then governance and culture, how people communicate with each other. So yeah, it's very present on my mind because we're, as Oscar mentioned, in Sierra Nevada mountains, and there's a very permanent presence of the indigenous tribe here, Arhuaco, and you can see how different people implement different elements of that culture. And then also where the lacks are with not implementing that and using all kinds of chemicals and pesticides for agriculture, for example. So yeah, if you go to the Tribes platform, you can see it.
I'm sharing my screen. As you guys saw, you can go directly to the Tribes platform from the Miro board. You can come up here. This is a link from the Tribes platform for this specific group where we've made subgroups for each of these. We've made groups for each of these subtopics. And so here you can see the group. You can see Sonia shared this PDF here that you can click into, you can download, you can read. We don't have a lot of, this is one of the newer groups that we've made. Inspired by Chimera's organization of data and the way we were organizing these topics. So all of these resources will be awesome as we'll be adding them in here over time.
Yeah, something to add to, something that I think about almost every time I find the resource and I post it on the platform is that most of these resources are connected to more than one subcategory or even more than one macro category. They're all intertwined and they cannot really be siloed. Like the guide that I posted is going to be valuable both for human systems and also land stewardship. This group that we're talking about, ecological wisdom and science. So I think it's going to be really fun to try to use LLM to go through all of these PDFs and extract the information more in the step-by-step guide format. So I don't know if next week we're going to be kicking that off, but I think that's going to be probably the most interesting part of that journey is synthesizing all of these resources into something actually usable for more people.
Yeah, our goal is now that we've done both ecology calls and we have all of this data, we're going to do our first run with the LLM to upload this stuff into a documentation set. We're going to set a call for this week. I believe we had planned for Thursday, but maybe we'll switch that to Wednesday now. I'll do a little check-in and I'll write some messages in the group chats to see what everyone is feeling most. But yeah, that's going to be a whole journey in itself. Of like working with the LLM, taking this data, normalizing it somehow, and uploading it to a collective brain. Okay, cool. So ecological wisdom and sciences. Awesome. Lots of data and knowledge and thoughts in there. Grateful for it. Again, if you have any questions or afterthoughts, feel free to put them in that little side box.
That's
All
good.
right. So,
Before we move on, I raised my hand. I'm sorry. Unless
oh
you
yeah, go ahead. I didn't see the. Yeah.
rather move on. So, ecological wisdom and science is of all the tabs that that we're covering today is I think the most philosophical subject in terms of how it would inform solutions for the regenerative communities we're trying to create, right? And I think it is a question of balance between ecological wisdom and science. And so the cautionary tale, and I mentioned this last week, and I'll do it in a different way. Um, um, if we learn anything from Copernicus, it is that humans are capable of creating constructs that are so profoundly wrong from reality. Right. But the problem is we get to a point of certainty in our constructs that we forget that we're the ones who created it, and all we were trying to do is describe something that we didn't create, which is nature. Right. And so the balance between the ecological wisdom and the science, and as far as I'm concerned, is science is the dependent variable here, and the ecological wisdom, which is how the ecology does what it does and how it sustains, and us understanding that, is the independent variable. The part that we didn't create, and the best we can do is replicate it. The best we can do is
Sure.
understand it, which
Yeah,
means that
yeah.
we really
It's like
need
the
to
actual
have.
truth.
What I'm saying, not trying to do a lecture series, but indigenous communities don't have metrics for managing the local ecologies that they manage and have managed for generations. They, through their lived experience, do it. And so this
Right.
is down to this a recognition that conscious knowledge is not the only way we know things. We also know things from our lived experience, and so therefore, this is where the humility comes in. To the extent that we're going to solve this problem, is the extent that we learn from the ecological wisdom, not the other way around. And so
Right,
I
right.
just
Yes.
throwing that out
Science
there.
is doing its best to
It's doing its
describe
best.
the natural
Yeah,
world. Sure, sure.
yes,
Yeah,
right.
deeply
But
agree.
the example is everyone on this call knows how to get up and walk across the room, but you need a doctorate degree in robotics to actually describe how all the functions associated with you standing up, balancing yourself, and walking across the room. This is the difference between our conscious knowledge and our knowingness, what we actually know from our lived experience, right? We just do it, right? But we know how to do it, right? Okay, so
Right.
this is where I mean about just that foundational recognition as we come up with these solutions is so important if we intend to solve the problem and not simply rebuild another false construct.
Yep. Yeah, yeah, I agree. Simulacra, right? We're all victims of the simulacra. And it becomes our reality before we even know it. All right, all right, all right. So let's see. I'm going back to the screen. Ooh, was I still sharing? Maybe. I think I was. Okay.
No, you stopped sharing.
I had stopped sharing. Okay, good. So now I'm going back and I'm going to share again. All right. So next topic, land stewardship. This is a big one. In our journey, right, Sonia and I have been leading the Regen Tribe Collective for the last couple of years. And one of the biggest, let's say, variables, challenges in all of these projects is how do we transition from I own this land or individuals own this land independently to how do we collectively steward something? How do we feel safe that this is our home while also having a shared mindset around things, a collective responsibility around things, right? Everything from tokens representing access to a location to a top corporation being the actual legal steward of land and individuals having shares of that corporation. I consider land stewardship to be how do we interface with the land and the humans so that we know how we relate and have access and rights to things. Does anyone want to share anything about land stewardship before we kick off our next 4-minute work session? Maybe a story of a project you've seen, maybe something great, maybe a train wreck that you saw happen, which is always good, in entrepreneurship, the like what I did wrong nights in a more casual way.
Well, that's the approach I'm building my community is you own shares of a corporation. The corporation owns all the assets, and
Sure.
And I would have totally agree. A collective stewardship is much better than egotistical. This is my plot. Get off of my land ideas. So
What's
I
essential is moving beyond the tyranny of autocracy and through the tyranny of the majority in a democracy to a consent of the governed through sociocracy and other sociocratic circle method approaches that works well at a small scale in a community. And I think that kind of governance will be key to managing such organizations.
Yep. Agreed. So if you guys know of any interesting land projects, the one always that comes to mind for me is traditional Dream Factory. They were the first one I described of they sell a token. A token represents one night stay at this property in perpetuity. So they've fractionalized ownership per night to their space, which I find to be such a unique model that's actually working and thriving. They've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars and are in process to steward another 20 hectares of land. So if you guys know of any projects like that, that would be great. Feel free to add links to those land projects. These like actual use cases are better than the theoretical ways of doing it because it's actually working and you can see any kinks in the armor in real time. So feel free to share any links like that. Also, documentation would be great. I'm going to set this timer for 4 minutes. We're going to do another little co-work sesh. Get it, you guys. Share some links, share some projects, share some interesting documents. All right, you guys. All right. So does anyone want to share any personal experience? Justin, you shared a great one. Justin, where's your project at, by the way? You mentioned this is how you're setting up.
Ometepe Island, Nicaragua.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah. True, true. You mentioned.
Yeah, I
Oh,
shared the deck in the chat too.
yeah. Cool. Ometepe in Nicaragua. Yeah. Interesting. I think I know someone with a. There's there's a woman who has I think a partner, and they share their land project. Like she's on some seasons, he runs it the other seasons. You know this family?
Ometepe.
Yeah,
Probably do. I know a lot of people. So yes.
interesting. It's like an island in the middle of a lake.
Yes, Lake Nicaragua. It's a very large lake in Central
Yeah,
America.
yeah. Oh, interesting. I'd love to connect you with them. I imagine you probably
Please.
know them already. We
Yeah, I
had a
probably
friend
do.
volunteering there before.
Anandas, or maybe it's Anandas, or
I don't remember the name. I'll look into it. Yeah.
please.
Okay. Very cool. Wow. Small world. Awesome.
There's a
Okay.
lot
So,
of high vibration people there.
yeah. Definitely. I've noticed that. Okay. Cool. So that was land stewardship. Beautiful. So that's great. Let's see what time it is. Okay, it's 4:10. That gives us about 20 minutes. So we gathered a bunch of great resources for these. My deepest desire, I guess, is to jump back to last week's calls where we did climate, biodiversity, and impact monitoring. And maybe let's give it, if we have 20 minutes, 4, 8, 12, that gives us 4 minutes per. And that leaves us another like 8 minutes for the end of the call to say our like last check-ins and prep for next week. How do we feel about that? How are we feeling about climate? All right, where should we start first? Climate, biodiversity. Let's start with impact monitoring. I would really love, we didn't get a lot of time on that one since we ran out of time. And we were like testing a different structure for the call. I would love to get everyone's, collective knowledge of projects that are putting tools out there or are actively monitoring with different ways, whether it's IoT or drones or LiDAR or, temperature readings. If you know of any interesting projects like this, Dr. Brian, you seem to be leading the pack on this one. Let's start with this one. Yeah.
Okay.
Impact monitoring and metrics, you guys. I'm going to set the timer for 4 minutes. Jump in there, go online if you need to, find some interesting projects, or if you have any projects in mind that are doing this well, dump them in there. Even if you have just thoughts for now, feel free to share any tooling or tools or processes you might have known of. Maybe you don't have a direct link. Feel free to share those as well. Maybe put those on the outer edge of the box. I'm going to run the timer. Let's go with Sunshine Jam for this one. All right, 4 minutes, you guys. Sorry. Right, cool. All right, any shares on any of these that you find like extremely unique, or maybe you were involved with, that you helped in some way? I'm a big fan of one of these that is like a community science, where people upload photos of places, and there's a system in the back end that takes these photos and tracks how spaces have changed over time through like a community science approach of decentralized data gathering, kind of like what we're doing right now. I'm definitely a big fan.
I was inspired by the happy people per hectare philosophy, and I was thinking how we could apply stellar metrics to that, which could include kilowatts or produced per resident, food produced per resident per season, and even labor per resident per year or per month.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, so the happy people per hectare, it's not actually like I was expecting to hear like, oh, people evaluate um, their level of contentment with life, like from arriving somewhere to being there for a certain amount of time. No?
Defining the metrics. I mean, I think there are social metrics and there are physical metrics, and we should look at both.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
cool thought. I really like that. I think one of the things that can be done is maybe like a quarterly or monthly survey when we ask people how many friends that you can count on do you have within the community? Yeah, how much food is provided to you? Yeah, how many hours of work do you have in a week and such? I think that's cool. So the general tool would be surveys or like feedback loop mechanisms that are forums or meetings, seasonal meetings where people answer all these questions. That's really cool.
Yeah. Maybe I want to pose a little question to the group. Like, how would you track your level of happiness? Um, uh, some that come to my mind are like, oh, how many friends or people in my life do I feel I can count on to be able to call and celebrate with, or maybe also ask for advice from? How many hours a week am I doing something that makes me feel alive or that I love, like a hobby or something?
I mean, I like measuring things, but this feels a lot like the old energy of like we need success, we need to measure happiness, we need to figure out how many people I'm friends with, and then that's gonna tell me
Sure.
whether I'm happy or not. It's like that whole like we have to have these measuring sticks to chase and these carrots to chase. Well, your community has this, so I'm going to change the soil in my community because your community has more happy people. It's just like it's a
Right.
little
Measuring can lead to comparison. I think by nature is kind of what it does.
yeah. It's like why do you want to? I get if you're like growing food, you want to measure because you want to see outcomes of abundance.
Right. But happiness is a weird one, huh? It like feels
It
kind of like counterintuitive to measure your happiness.
it's like too much doing around being. It's like
Right.
the
Yeah.
measuring is the doing around the being. It's I don't know. It gets a little fuzzy there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rules
I
of happiness.
I feel that a little bit. I feel that we had that conversation a couple of times whether a contribution of community members, like giving time of the day to talk to another person, should be measured. And my opinion was that it shouldn't, because then we tend to, keep count on activities that should actually flow from our heart. And at the same time, what Mike said about certain things are intuitive, and we just do them, and if we don't measure them then it cannot be replicated. And I think there's something positive about comparison, because if one community has a lot of happy members, then it probably should be studied and some of the practices should be replicated in other places. So there's definitely some balance to that. I wouldn't mind being asked maybe in a more ceremonial setting whether I am satisfied with my life, and it will be subjective to all of the community members what that means. And still, I would like for people in my community to care whether I am fulfilled or not, and I care about my community members, and I would like to know that about them. So having some maybe softer way to measure that,
Yeah, and some of it is just, I'm not so much against the measuring, it's the
I would be happy
conclusiveness
with.
that created the happiness, right? It was this thing, it was the combination of four things. It's like, like,
Right. And then everybody's different, So for some people, happiness is one thing, right? It's such a subjective experience, the concept of happiness. For some,
We've
it's
got
not
some
such
hands up
things.
too.
it's like, hey, the happiness doesn't come from the outside. So why are we measuring the outside to find the happiness within? How does that
Yeah.
even work?
I would
Yeah.
say
Hands up. Go ahead.
happiness or not, it's on us to replace GDP with something more effective. There are a lot of degeneracies with gross domestic product,
Yeah. It's the
and I
worst.
think we need to find
We
better
don't need to
metrics.
replace it. Let it fall away. Just let it fall away. We don't need to
Like
replace it.
if you don't replace it, they're going to keep using GDP, and it's really degenerate in a
Who's
lot of ways.
they? Who are they?
The
Um,
government.
yeah.
The they isn't out there. We're here right now. This is us right now. There is no they.
Investors, I mean, the general GQ public that's investing in stocks and bonds.
The money
If you
doesn't
want to
even.
bring,
The money doesn't even. It's not even doesn't even mean anything. I mean,
I guess
Not
the question is, do we want to scale or not? If we want to
it's
scale, we need to connect to capital markets.
it's the dream of investment of projects. So like
Yeah.
it's a
It's hard to get
continuity.
land without
There's a
capital.
lot of boats out there, some are nation state size, some are family size, some are tribe size. There's just a lot of different
Yeah. Kevin
Yeah,
places.
and
so
Tamara, you guys have your hands up. I'd love to hear from
yeah,
you guys.
Kevin, you
Kamara,
go
did you
first.
want to go first? Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Do you all find the global happiness survey useful? I mean, it's something that's been going on for years. Um, Finland seems to be the happiest place in the world, happiest country in the world for like 8 years in a row. I
Mm.
find it quite ironic since they border Russia and, Putin apparently is the devil, but, but, I suspect they will not continue to be happy if they stay in NATO, you know, but that said, is the survey, I mean, this is a global survey that much research has been done in. Is it a useful assessment of happiness?
Where can I find that survey? Worldhappinessreport.com or what? Is that
I
it?
mean, I could look it up and stuff like that. I mean, but has
Please
anyone
do.
heard what I'm talking about?
No,
I
we need to
I
learn
have
about it.
heard about it, and I
Really? Okay.
lived in two of the highest ranking countries. Like I'm currently living in Mexico. Mexico's been up there for years in a row. So has Colombia, and I don't know what they measure it on. I think it's yeah, it's like social metrics of like how connected they are to their families and stuff. Um but it's just something that you perceive, and it brought me to both places, and both places when I first went to Colombia and then I came to Mexico, and when I came to Mexico it's like there's something here that reminds me very much of Colombia, and it's just like something in the culture and something in the oh my God, el ánimo, what how do you say?
Like the spirit,
Yeah,
maybe?
there's something in their spirit where you can feel the happiness is like kind of like almost tangible in the air somehow, but then again it's very lofty and hard to grasp. So, but there's
Yeah.
something about it. I think they're doing something right. They're measuring
Mm.
something right.
Mm-hmm. Pura
Okay,
vida.
Cam, please share.
So I have two thoughts. The first one is around happiness. So happiness is a emotion. So we experience a wide range of emotions, sadness, happiness, grief, joy, pain, frustration. It's a full spectrum human experience. And so I honestly don't think that happiness is a good indicator, because if we don't have sadness and grief, as the balance to that happiness, then we're not feeling a full spectrum, and it becomes fake. It becomes like that weird reality show or that weird show that where all the people are too happy and it's just not real. So I was wondering, okay, so what would we measure? Like you could measure dissatisfaction, like satisfaction and dissatisfaction. Like, are you content with your life or do you hate your life? Like, are you dreading waking up in the morning? Like, that's something that should definitely be measured. But um,
Yeah.
we don't want, I would be hesitant to try to make people be like, okay, you have to be happy. Like, if you're not 100% happy or 90% happy, or if our community's not 90% happy, then we're doing something wrong because that wouldn't be human. And then my other thought when I was thinking about how to do the Eden OS is around how do we. So, for those of you that don't know, it's an idea for a game and it's on the Masterminding Eden website if you want to look at the full thing I wrote about it. But there is in the game, it's a massive multiplayer online design tool as well as a game. So you can design environments using assets that are real world assets and pull them in, drag and drop, and connect your village, your community with power, water, homes, farms, etc. Right? And as I was thinking, well, how do we measure the impact of each item that's going in? How do we make sure that what we're doing is net positive for the planet and positive for people? And how do we assign people points for playing this game, like winning this game? If it's not competition, what is it? And it comes down to net positive impact. And so every item in the game which is a real world item that you could buy, like say it's a cup or whatever, solar panel. Each one of those items, when it's put into the asset library, has a whole list of attributes from is it what's its environmental impact, how much energy was used, is it aesthetically pleasing, is it good for people, is it bad for people, like there's a whole list of things that we could measure and then have it break down to a net positive impact score or a net negative impact score. And the higher the net positive impact, the more points you get, or the more it's worth, or that's how I think that we could replace GDP with something that would be good for people on the planet. I hope that was understandable.
Yep. Yeah. You're definitely putting thought into it, right? Because by nature, a game has like points that you win towards, and how you measure that in an interesting way is unique, right? To invent a game in a different direction that isn't hierarchical and in that way, it's interesting.
Well, and there's always things that have negatives and positives. Like we live in a duality. I mean, really, it's a unity if you want to get down to the spiritual nature, but it is a duality. So even, for instance, the positive and negatives of my Contigo water bottle, right? It's metal, and I'm going to use it for 20 years if I don't lose it. But the top is plastic that will take 500 to 1,000 years to degrade, and it'll break into microplastics and pollute the environment. What is the net impact of this? Is it positive or is it negative? I can't actually tell you. I like to think that it's positive because I'm going to use it for so long and not use temporary water bottles, right?
Right.
But it still has a negative aspect. So that's why it's net. You have to calculate more than one attribute to get a net.
Yeah.
All right,
That's a good point. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was good. Nice. Okay, guys. So with that one, it's 4:30 now. I want to honor, saying, okay, so as a quick little reflection from my point, we got so much good information this one. Kamara, it was great, that on our follow-up call last week, we stated our clear success metric, which is we want at least one resource for each of these topics, in addition to exploring and having these like conversations around the topics. I think it's really nice to have one container where we have a specific metric of success, and then bleed out into more of the exploratory journey. I really enjoyed this call. I would love to hear feedback from you guys as well. I'm not sharing my screen anymore, but if you look at the very end of each call, there's always a little thing there for feedback where Sonia puts what worked, what needs improvement, and what you want more of. So I would definitely invite you guys to get in there, share some of your feedback. I would love to hear thoughts from everyone on the call right now. If you have anything to share about this experience, about any of these topics, kind of as like a closing thought. I want to honor everyone's hard stop time. So it's 4:30 now. This is technically the hard stop time. Some of the feedback we got last week was that it would be better if the calls were longer, like 3-hour minimum was the suggestion. And I don't disagree in any way. I think maybe the breakout of that, we'll be doing a second call every week moving forward. We'll have a lot to do with each person, maybe wanting to get involved in other ways with these calls. Does anyone have anything to share that they'd like to?
I was curious if you had considered creating a boardroom for each of these areas. I've had great success creating a boardroom of individuals in particular areas for business. So like 6 to up to 18 different people that are already specialists in these particular buckets. You can create a boardroom of those people in GPT or other platforms to discuss amongst each other or
what would that look like? What would that look like a boardroom?
You can create a custom GPT and you insert the names of people and also the the goals of, like you have on the Miro board, the goals of that particular section. And then you can simply ask that group questions, and it's based on the works of those individuals that the answers, and you can even ask them to debate amongst each other, the best ways to do things too. So I could see that really aligning well with what you're trying to do with putting what we're putting in here to an LLM, but creating, I'm sure I've mentioned several people in each of these buckets. There's probably a whole group of folks from all over the world, both alive and passed on, that you can put in a boardroom,
I would love to see what that looks like. Do you have one you can invite me to, or maybe?
I do.
Okay, cool. Yeah. If you could do that, I would love to see what that looks like. And so this now becomes the using the tools that exist today to process all of this data that we're gathering. This is going to be actually, I would say, this is the fun part: the calls, meeting everyone, talking to everyone. The next part of like the data processing will be, in my opinion, the heavy lift. To make sense of this information, right? In the best case, I can just take screenshots of these boards and pass it directly. I don't know how well that'll work. I'm definitely going to try that and take my shot. I'm also going to process the data and massage it a little bit before putting it into the database. I'm going to try both. This is what we're going to explore on the LLM workshop this week coming up. Maybe a raise of hands right here. What day would be best? Last week we discussed Thursday. I know we've moved the Masterminding call to Thursday.
Thursday's better.
So maybe Wednesday? Is Wednesday okay?
No, Thursday's better.
Thursday's better. Okay, cool.
Much better.
Okay, Thursday. Cam, what time is the Masterminding eating call?
This coming Thursday? Hold on.
Yeah.
At
12 still?
We have our core team meeting at 9 a.m. Pacific on Thursday.
Okay.
And then on Friday, we have the community meeting at 10 a.m. Pacific.
Okay, cool. So we can do Thursday this time, 3 p.m. Eastern, which is what, 6 a.m. your time, Dr. Brian?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, that
6
works.
6 a.m. your time. It's like 9 p.m. Europe time. Where is it? Everyone here's in the Americas, more or less, except you, Dr. Brian?
Yeah.
Yeah, Americas. Okay, cool. Yeah, we had a little drop off of some of the Europeans because like Saturday, 9 p.m., I guess, is like prime time. Everyone's probably going out, going to dinner kind of thing. But I'm sure they're getting the calls. Okay, so stay tuned for updates of the Thursday call where we'll be starting this data processing thing. Justin, I'd love to see this boardroom thing that you're talking about. That could be cool to, right? Because I would love to create a more permanent space where people can jump in and share stuff could be that boardroom. Maybe we'll add something to the new landing page. Chimera, I don't know if you guys saw, Sonia redesigned the landing page for the calls. She put some design on it. So she's still mobile optimizing it, but the web version is like looking much better. Maybe in there we'll put links to where these like follow-up conversation rooms can be. Potentially there'll be these boardrooms, and then we'll have an LLM processing right away. Could be interesting. I'd love to see what that looks like, Justin. But we'll be talking about this kind of stuff on the LLM call on Thursday.
Beautiful.
Cool, you guys.
I wonder if you can export the Miro board in Markdown.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, you can.
In Markdown, because that would be the most simplest text that you could feed to the LLM with the links and stuff in it.
Definitely. I think the step there will be just to put a frame around each one of the sections so it doesn't just fall as a big blob. We'll put a frame around each like little bucket of questions and give it a little prompt on what that is, and here's the text for it, and see what it spits out. And that's kind of going to be the journey, the easiest processing step, I would say, is that for sure.
Yeah, I think the challenge will be opportunity will be prompting and then coming up with a structure in which we will categorize all that information, because again, most of these things are macro, and we want to ideally put together a step-by-step process that can be followed by land developers and community builders. So I think Thursday call will be about that. Will be, okay, this is how we exporting the information, and then how do we put together that information in a way that makes sense. So I think the prompt engineering will be a bulk of the work that we're going to be doing, which is really, really exciting. We have a guide that's 11-step guide. We can try using that as some guidance for how we're going to organize the information. But yeah, we're probably going to discuss that. And one more thing about the website and all the contributions. You guys are amazing. And I would like to start putting everybody together in a database of people that are co-creators and contributors of that framework. So I would just like to know if everybody here is on the Telegram group, the Regen Tribe Collective Telegram group, or Masterminding Eden Telegram group, because I need good quality photos of you in order to put you on the website.
I think I'm having trouble getting on the Telegram, but I'll double check. I may be on there.
Sonia, on the Masterminding Eden website, all of the people who are involved with Masterminding Eden that said that they were willing to be publicized are on the Who page, and you can pull pictures from there too if you want.
Oh, nice.
Okay, yeah, I already looked at the Masterminding Eden website and I extracted all of you that participated. Dr. Brian, I already have your photo from the internet, so you're already on the website, but there's other people here that I would like to highlight there.
Maybe just put your email in the chat, and then if somebody wants to be on there, they could send you a headshot and a bio.
Okay, perfect. Call to action. This is my email. Feel free to send me a photo, good quality photo of you, a portrait, or just good quality photo. And then, any projects that you're connected to or working on that you would like to include in the description.
Cool.
Awesome.
Amazing.
All right, guys. Well, Leo, welcome, and Florencia, you guys caught the end of the call. We're just wrapping up. We had a wonderful call on ecology. Grateful to everybody. I invite you guys to check out the Miro board, where we just dumped a bunch of awesome resources, discussed what ecology is in context of, developing a new society, which is what we're doing here. I'm grateful to all of you, imagining stepping into this new world that we are being, called to design and build ourselves, because if it's not us, then who? Thank you guys for being here. I'm excited for next week. We're going to kick off hardware. So put on your hardware hats. We'll do an LLM call this Thursday, where we will start massaging data and seeing what comes out and what kind of awesome tool we're going to be creating for ourselves and others on this journey to build regenerative neighborhoods. Happy Saturday, you guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you. Reminder,
Okay.
update your profiles on the Tribes platform. Everyone gets to know you a little bit better. Make sure you join the Masterminding Eden group. As an idea as well, if you're in that group, you can upload a picture on, not just as your bio picture, because that one loses quality, but you can just upload a photo as a file, and you could get it off of there, Sonia. That could be easy as well. And then I'm trying to just keep the containers there for everyone. So happy weekend, you guys. We'll chat soon. We're all in the Regen Tribe chat. I think we're having a lot of conversations in there, which is really nice. Vic started a thread in the Tribes platform on the AI piece that we're starting to get some traction on. So conversations are going. We're trying to figure out what's best, what everyone uses. So yeah, we're here. The collective, our hive mind is starting to come to fruition, and I'm excited about it.
Do you want to hang on for a few minutes? I'll just share screen and show you the
Yeah, we'd love to see it.
boardroom.
I'm gonna stick around. Yeah, if anyone
Okay.
wants to stick around, feel free. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey guys, happy Saturday. If anyone has to jump off, feel free. Otherwise, we're gonna be on here for a little bit longer. I think I need to give you permission to share potentially. Can you share?
Let me get it teed up and then
Okay, cool.
then I'll share.
Yeah, so just for reference, you guys, we're discussing, right? These calls have been a call to action to gather resources. We've been gathering resources on a Miro board, which is what everyone is being asked questions on, dumping links. We're also putting PDFs and bigger files onto the Tribes platform in the corresponding groups. It's been an interesting journey to figure out how to get 20 minds aligned and sharing data with each other. We are now starting the discussion on how we will make the most of all of these data sets. Justin suggested using a GPT as a conversation room. I'm excited to see it and see how that works and operates. Could be a good one for a continued follow-up conversation post, being on the calls all together.
Yeah, you have to give me share. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to share it, saying,
okay.
You got to give me some love.
Let me see where that. Let's see. I don't know.
And while you're doing that, I can give you a rough idea how I'm using it now. So I have a board, and an AI board that is for my business, which is in the water treatment business, and I have lots of people from business building to copywriting to marketing experts as board members, both living and people that have passed on. I'll show you that.
Can you share? I made you the host. I think you should be able to.
It looks like it. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Nice.
So I'm inside the. You guys can see screen, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm inside this GPT I've built.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see, just name it, brief description, the instructions. So this is like purpose of this GPT.
This is like the macro prompt.
Yeah, the advisors and their roles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And kind of each player, what they should be talking about or what their expertise is. Cool. And then there's these conversation starters, which I think got generated by me just building the other areas.
Mm-hmm.
Or I may have generated these in GPT previously. And then you upload a document about each of the advisors. So you just have GPT generate these PDFs of specific people that have that unique skill set, so that they fully understand that when they go to the knowledge graph and find data or information that they know that they're it's the right person, right?
Yeah.
And then
that PDF, how are those PDFs created? Some of these people are just online personalities, or these are real people that shared some stuff somewhere, and from that you got this.
Yeah, I had GPT generate each of these, and these are all real people that either are alive or did exist at one point in time in marketing business.
Sure.
And it generated essentially the knowledge graph around that person. And I'll try and I can pop open, see if I can pop one of those open.
Okay, cool. That's
and
interesting.
then down here, I've got Google Sheets, and this is my, my business's financial stuff, right? So this could be Miro board stuff, right? This could be the information from the Miro board. You're just uploading files here. So this gives it additional knowledge from the boards that we've been feeding, right?
Sure. So it has more context, right? The more context, the better.
Exactly. And then I'm allowing it to do anything, right? Generate images, whatever. So that's, and then I can just come in here and see if I can, it's a little slow for the share. And then I can just come in here and ask a direct question to the board, and then it'll decide who should respond. Or I can say, Chet, have a conversation with Dan about this next marketing strategy that we're conceiving, and then they'll kind of debate amongst each other. And so it's not always you just saying, give me answers. You can do it to where it's like, hey, I've got 3 financial advisors on the board. You guys debate about what the best legal structure is in Nicaragua to build this community, right? And so that's kind of where I'm going next with my community, is building an advisory board that's based on permaculture, biodynamics. Just pull in kind of you're doing it very like you've got some buckets that are really refined, where I might just throw in 12 advisors that covers the gamut of community living, growing food and other aspects of managing community. So
okay, interesting, very cool. Yeah, I hadn't even thought.
I could see an AI advisory board, maybe 6 to 18 people in each bucket for each of the areas you're trying to cover, because there's certainly experts out there that have played in these realms very deeply that you can just tap into it, and then it becomes a place where we can ask questions.
I think that's definitely the goal, right? Is to gather these things, these projects, people that have some level of like subject matter expert through experience, through lived experience, or through studied and research experience, and prime that as the main data point. Because at this point, there's so many people that now know how to hack ChatGPT. So like they know how to write, just like how people learned how to hack Google AdWords. They know how to hack blog titles and using quotation marks and specific languaging, so that ChatGPT just feeds that as the answer for like the best answer on the internet.
Yeah. So let me just ask a question so you guys can see.
Yeah. Let's see this. That's cool.
In the next quarter. So I'm trying to add the business. We just kind of AI cloned the founder of the business, my business partner, and I'm sort of asking it, what should we do with the clone to drive business in the next quarter?
Yeah.
So let's see what it.
This has total Westworld vibes. If anyone's seen Westworld.
So then it shows you like who's, each individual's feedback based on strategy.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, that's cool.
And then it pulls it together, right? Like what's the unified feedback that they're all giving?
Sure. Yeah, that's what LLMs do really well, right? It's like from an abstract set of data points, it can come up with some unifying theme, potentially 1 or 2 or 3 streams of data that pulls together sometimes unseemingly not connected things, but they are in some way.
And then it gives me a 90-day deployment plan, because I said, next quarter.
Yeah, right.
So it kind of goes through all that. Let's see what not to do. and then the final verdict from the board.
Yeah.
It's not a chat bot, it's a scalable founder presence.
Presence.
And it
Okay,
gives you
cool,
some
cool.
suggestions.
Yeah, this is probably going to be the layer we put on top of, right, this like raw data, and right, because the raw data, my first easiest solution is chatbot on top of the raw data, categorized in some strategic way. But this would be now a layer on top of that that's like almost agentic, where there's some intelligent source that is processing the data through a second level prompt. And okay, very interesting.
And then
Cool,
let me,
cool.
I'm popping up on the PDF, one of the PDFs now, so you can see what that is here.
Yeah, the PDFs for the individual.
Let me see if I can reshare. Let me stop sharing. I can share. That's a different one. Here we go. So it's kind of given a, this is for Chet Holmes. Identity, purpose. So again, GPT just create, you can ask GPT to create all these.
Right. Like deep personal profiles of individuals.
Mastery built through repetitions, some of their core, what they really stand for, their approaches and things, signature models, frameworks,
Nice.
stadium pitch, tone and communication style, right? So just kind of, it really gives it a core foundation before it needs to go to the internet and dig deeper, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Of course. The more context you give it, the better. The less self-research and like potentially weird non-truths it'll pull. Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Yep. So that's the concept.
Yeah. I see this as being the layer on top of now, right? This raw data that we put in. When you query it, instead of just querying a chatbot that goes through that data, you query it with like, hey, these are the experts,
advisors,
right? 1 to 5 or whatever number of experts per topic. Oh, that's awesome, Justin. Yeah, very cool.
And then you can push back against the experts saying, well, what about this though? Like some of the ideas we've had, or somebody that maybe isn't on the board that doesn't have the trophies and everything we all give people. It's like you can throw a fresh idea against the board and they can tell you, their feedback from that perspective, as opposed to just us as a small group of, children basically running into these different areas. So
Right. Interesting. Cool, man. Thank you for sharing that. That's great.
Of course. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. That definitely already adds like a level of robustness and uniqueness to the, very simple solution.
Really takes it to another level.
Bunch of data and chatbot. Right. This is now the next level.
Craig and I have been using that advisory board, and we've been in business for many years, so we're very smart people, but that board is, you can't even pay, you can't put a dollar amount on the
Could you send me like one of those, the skeleton of one of those people's profiles?
Yeah.
So I can start. Yeah, that'd be great.
What I'll do is I'll share the conversation I had with GPT that created all those. So you'll actually have the structure.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice. Okay, cool, man. Yeah. Thank you.
And
Justin.
do I have your email, or am I just dropping that somewhere?
Are you in the Telegrams? I can share you my. Okay. Yeah. If you can hit me on the Regen Tribe Telegram.
Okay, cool.
You can DM me there or wherever. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Or on Tribe's platform, whatever feels good for you.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Cool, man. Leo, welcome, man. You didn't, everyone got a little intro. Just would love to see where you're checking in from. What's your passion? What drew you?
Yeah. No, I'm a lot of things. Thank you for doing this. I'm really glad that that I still caught a little bit of it. Yeah, I'm Leo. I saw this in the Masterminding Eden group, met Kamara at the gathering over a year ago in Portugal. And I'm passionate about the rainforest. I am actually in Europe. I'm in Germany. Also from here. But yeah, I think yeah, like the whole topic of regenerative neighborhoods is like interesting to me because yeah, it's just becoming clearer and clearer how like people living together is there's many interhuman things that are very important in the regenerative movement, and it's becoming clearer and clearer. But obviously, ecological topics are still important. So yeah, thank you for doing this. And I mixed up the times. That's what happened with time zones and stuff. But yeah, very cool stuff. And I hope I am catching future ones.
Cool. Yeah, we recorded it. We'll be sharing it on the YouTube channel. Each YouTube video is on the website that's shared with all of the links. I'll share it here if you want to see it. NF-call.
Okay.
Sonia just redesigned the website. The link is there. Yeah, cool, man. Well, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for catching the end of it. You can check out the YouTube video if you want to see the beginning of the call. Next week, we'll be focusing on hardware. And this Thursday, same time, 3 p.m. EST. So it's like about 9 p.m. your time, I think, in Germany. We'll be doing an LLM focused call. Justin was just giving us a way he works on his project with now another layer on top of, like, you know, to optimize just the chatbot solution, a more elegant AI powered advisory board. So we'll be exploring that as well to make the most out of all this wonderful content that we're gathering on these calls.
Yeah. Very cool. And then the hardware will be the topic of the Saturday call in 7 days.
Yes, the next 2 Saturdays will be hardware. The first Saturday we'll kind of go through, talk about each one of the subtopics in a kind of theoretical, high level. You know, why is this important? What does it mean to development of a regenerative neighborhood? How we can integrate this best. And then the second call will be focusing on solutions for each of those subtopics. Bringing forward projects we know that are doing it well. You know, next week on the hardware topic, we'll have like housing, water systems, food systems, energy systems. You know, any companies out there selling energy systems or septic systems that are awesome. That'll be the time to share any of these solutions, any papers that are describing innovative ways of doing it, very successful ways of doing it, even ways to not do it because it definitely doesn't work. You know, all the lessons that we can gather to create with the ultimate goal, this framework, you know, kind of a structure for how to think about planning, designing, and building a regenerative neighborhood. And then the product will be this smart dynamic documentation where we're going to put all of this data into a documentation set and run some LLMs through it so people can query a website, ask it questions, and hopefully be guided on their journey on how to build a regenerative neighborhood in the best way.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, makes sense. Is that already fully scheduled? Like who's presenting in 7 days, or
no, we have a form that if you want to present something, you're welcome to share, but we'll be doing it on the calls, kind of live. If you have something you're extra passionate about, we'll give you a few minutes to share. If you want to actually share a project with a slideshow, you can book between 5 to 7 minutes where you can share a full presentation of your project or a project that you've known or seen or experienced or just want to share with the community.
Perfect. Yeah, cool. I'll see who's available. Perfect. Thank you.
Babysitting some dogs over here. That's our friend. That's our friend. We're babysitting. Hey. Hey, you guys, just so you can see the action over here. We have a wolf dog. It's the wolf dog right there. And he just had a surgery, so he's like protective of his ear right now. And that's our friend. And then we have a community dog here. And they're getting to know each other.
I just dropped the link to the GPT conversation I used to build those.
Cool. I got
PDFs.
it. I'm here.
Okay, cool.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm gonna save that. I mean, before I close this chat, or else we'll lose that. Cool. Thanks, Justin. Cool, man. All right. Well, you guys, happy Saturday. Thank you for being here. Florencia, if you're there, you want to do a little intro real quick, just to kind of honor your presence. I'd love to know more about everyone that's here. Leo, if you haven't made a profile on the Tribes platform, I invite you to do so. This is where we're sharing resources. There's a really rich profile set of questions that in the next steps, potentially, Justin, I'll make little AI versions of each person based on those questions that you answer in there, which is like your community of desire, where, why, principles, values, things you've worked on, experiences. And we can make kind of this AI replicant of each person.
Yep. Love it.
Okay, yeah, Florencia, Argentina. I love co-creating on the side of the world. Methods and new approaches also being developed little by little. Cool. Yeah, great to meet you. Thank you for being here. We'll have another call next Saturday at this time, and we'll be doing the AI call on Thursday. So thank you guys. Happy weekend. Enjoy. Join the Tribes platform and join the Masterminding Eden group. Let me put the link here.
Before we go, it just came to mind. I just want to share it. Are we still, by the way, are we still recording, or is the recording already stopped?
Yeah, I can stop it. Let's see.
No, it's fine either way.
Continue.
I just wanted to share, just in the spirit of like cross-pollinating, because we are talking about technology in the regenerative space. There is a cool on this this coming Tuesday, as a interesting like kind of open online call around regenerative technologies, and I just thought I'd share. I'm just getting the link.
That would be great. That would be great. I'd love to maybe attend. Let's see.
The invite here in the chat. Yeah. So yeah, just thought I'd mention that. And if you know anyone, I think it's fine that I'm sharing it. And this is looking forward to attending more of these and digging deeper.
Okay, cool. I'm going to share the link for that here in the Masterminding Eden group on Tribes. This is kind of what we're using as the bulletin board group for this endeavor to gather these resources, create them. I shared a link there for the general Tribes platform. Make yourselves a profile. Here is the Masterminding Eden group. Once you create your profile, make sure you join that group. That way we all know kind of who this collective is that's in here doing this. And I think a little reminder that our big vision is to actually build physical locations. So once this call series and framework and tool gets built, Sonia and I, our collective, is actively looking for land projects that are at the step of development and eager to expand their communities, where we are looking to support and bring in this growing community of potential investors, residents, at the very least visitors. So Justin, I'd love to come visit your place at some point and see where you are. Like, what are some needs you have for the project? I think in the long run,
my door is open, brother.
Okay, cool, man. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that'll be great. Cool, you guys.
Yeah, just met with a landowner and architect this morning. We were laying everything out on the land. So.
Oh, nice. Because what's the status of your space right now? You have some land already like locked in? You have people living there, or are you in the process of like?
I'm very close to. I have the landowner actually is very interested in what I'm doing. So he built a hotel right next door to the property years ago. And so he's already got a nice network of all the people, and he's older and really just wants to do great things. He had good intentions with the land himself, but I don't think he has the energy to do it himself anymore. So he's very excited that I'm here saying, let's build a community here. So, I can't tell you that I've secured the land, but we're in deep conversations about, how much of his land I really need. He was saying, hey, I don't think you need all my land. I think you can do what you're trying to do on a part of it, and that's where we're at, so that he can decide how much is that really worth to him, and
right
still get what I want about buying.
Collaborating with current landowners is like for sure one of the best strategies, right? It keeps the overhead of like buying the land flat out initially low, and allows the speedy use of the free income to build the needed infrastructure 100%. To get people there and living.
So okay, cool. We're basically building the master plan even before I fully secured the property.
Sure.
But I'm doing that with the landowner. So.
What's your desired size? Like how many people? How many hectares?
144 cap, but I'm also going to have retreat center, beach club, and lodging separate from that core community. So.
Okay, nice. Nice.
So it's going to be like 36 homes in the community, because you can get to 144 really quick with families.
Sure.
And then, have beach club, retreat center, lodging.
And is your idea that the residents that have shares of this top co, they also have slices of those business models as well?
The whole thing is a business.
The whole thing, beautiful, awesome, dude, perfect. Those are
the beach club and all that is the engine. The retreat center is the engine. The community is the heart.
Yes, dude. Yes, perfect, man. Okay, you're rocking, dude. Awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah.
For the
So,
feedback.
dude, I'd love to share. I'm going to share a link here for you real quick before we go. This regenerativeneighborhood.com. There's a Miro board on there that has a design for a unique kind of like layout of community, which shows the best things that we've seen in communities around the world, which is essentially 12 micro neighborhoods, each with a focus and shared amenities for each of those focuses, right? Like one is an art space, like a micro art community that has an art making studio and then a little art gallery for them to exhibit. The next micro community of 10 homes has the shared amenities of like a woodworking space. So like the theme of that neighborhood is kind of all wood, and they have a wood shop and a woodworking area and then a little shop that sells
Very
wooden.
cool.
The next one is metal. The other one is technology. Another one is entrepreneurship. And so this is an open source design that we are now sharing with, people building master plans. Dude, check it out. Tell us what you think. Yeah.
That's beautiful. I like that concept. And there's a lot of that already in Ometepe, like other people that are doing this and doing that. And so, yeah.
Sure. Right. In the best case, it's fully decentralized, right? There's already people doing those things and there's just like a common area for everyone. In the easiest case, we're seeing like, okay, someone that really wants to invest. We were talking to a few family offices looking to invest into regenerative, funny in that world. It's like, it's easier to raise 100 million than it is to raise 10 million.
For sure.
They say, which is crazy, but makes sense at that level of money. So this is kind of where we said, okay, money is no cap. What would we build? This is the beginning of that. That can scale down. Obviously, you don't need to go up there. But just some inspo there.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'll check that out.
Happy to be connected. Thank you for being on the calls, Justin.
Yeah, much love to you.
Yeah. All right, guys. Happy weekend. We'll talk soon.
Bye,
Stay
guys.
tuned.
Much love. Peace.